But what is this Brexit Freedoms Bill? Do you think it's an all-round good thing? Do you think it's going to lead to this bonfire of red tape that we all were promised?
Of course, it's a good thing that we say that we're going to review every single law that we domesticated when we left the EU. But I don't want to just fall for the hype, by the way. It's always great when a government says it's going to get rid of laws, but I actually fear that although we've left the EU, we're bringing in far too many laws in the UK of our own volition. So that's one bad thing. Secondly, Lord Frost said a really good thing about these retained EU laws. He said, let's have a commission, open it up to the whole of the country to discuss what laws we should keep and which ones we should get rid of and so on and so forth. And that idea went when Lord Frost resigned. And I'm rather disappointed that now what they've done is they're just saying we're now going to do this a bit by parliamentary fiat through, what they call Henry VIII rules, which means that there won't be much parliamentary discussion. So yes, I want to get rid of the laws. Every Brexiteer and non-Brexiteer should be pleased to get rid of regulations that hold us back. But I think it could be more democratically done.
Yeah, I had it in my head that, we would go through all those regulations that we'd inherited from the EU with a fine-tooth comb and decide which ones were serving us and which ones weren't for the businesses and individuals in this country. It seems that this government is priding itself on making more and more rules, bills, regulations. I think there were 38 mentioned in the Queen's speech. What is this obsession with creating more laws? Where does that come from?
Well, that's one of our problems, isn't it? Which is, for example, we have left the EU and therefore you could scrap VAT on energy bills, but we won't do it. So, it's not as though getting rid of the laws or changing the law liberates us. But I do fear that there is an increasing reliance by politicians on regulations and law rather than setting social norms through leadership, having a sense of moral authority where not everything has to be legislated on. The law is a really hard hammer to use on some very minor things that you want to change in society. Sometimes you have to win arguments. You shouldn't just make things criminal. So if you think the Queen's speech this time is introducing 38 new bills, and if you look at them, I would say huge numbers of them are not necessary. I think, you're having a discussion later about the Human Rights Act. I think it's great when you have a sense of renewal. If you say the Human Rights Act should be looked at, maybe we should have a Bill of Rights. I'll leave that debate for later for your programme. But that is the spirit in which you actually try and roll back legal, prescriptive ways of governing. But I'm afraid this government is no different to any other. The reason why it's great that we're not in the EU, though, is that we are, at least as voters, in control of making that criticism.